Hello all, we bring to you a video on our festival of illumination called Karthika Deepam in the south and Kartik Purnima in the rest of India. Kartik Purnima is celebrated on the full moon day of the month of Kartik as per the lunar calendar, while Kartika Deepam is observed when the star cluster Kritika is overhead in the solar month that corresponds to lunar's Kartik, which tends to coincide with the full moon day. Hence, even with the varying calendar systems, 2 out of 3 times Kartik Purnima and Kartika Deepam end up falling on the same day. Being a festival in the month of Kartik, just like Diwali, the tradition of lighting lamps takes center stage. Fascinatingly, while Diwali is a grand spectacle of different forms of light radiating warmth, hope and happiness, Kartik Purnima and Kartika Deepam are more spiritual in nature and draws focus on the mystical essence of the brightly burning oil lamps. In this video, grouped into 3 themes, we look at the unique set of tales from mythology and certain distinct traditions that are associated with this festival and how lamps add their shine to those very tales and practices. Theme 1 is birthdays. The day of Kartik Purnima is considered to be the birthday of 3 pivotal characters, Matsya, Kartikeya and Brinda. First is Matsya, Vishnu's fish avatar, who is born on Kartik Purnima under the star Bharani. This is Matsya, who came as a small fish in a river and asked for refuge from King Satyavrat, who was meditating nearby. The noble king took him to his palace and kept him in a bowl of water, only to realize that the fish grew in size at an alarming rate. Matsya, though born as a tiny fish, goes on to save the universe single-handedly, just like how a small lamp has the power to illuminate an entire room. Second is Kartikeya, the slayer of Tarakasura, who was also born on Kartik Purnima. His birth was a unique event by itself, where Shiva and Parvati, in their meditative state, unite their souls and produce a combined spark from it. Agni, the demigod of the fire element, is entrusted with the spark, but unable to bear its heat, he hands it over to river Ganga, the water element. As the river is flowing downstream, Vayu, the wind demigod, blows a gust to make the spark collide with a rock and split into 6. Ganga eventually takes the sparks to the forest of Sharavana and deposits them on the lotuses of a lake. The light from the sparks attracts the 6 nymphs of the Kritika constellation from the sky, and they are filled with motherly concern and affection for them. Thus, each of the 5 natural elements called the Panchabhutas in the form of Agni, Ganga, Vayu, Sharavana forest and Kritikas offer protection and care as a parent to the spark originated from Shiva and Parvati. This results in the creation of a physical body around the sparks, giving rise to 6 babies. As the Kritikas fondle the babies, Parvati and Shiva arrive at the spot. Shiva then combines the 6 babies into one, and thus Kartikeya comes into existence, who, due to his peculiar type of birth, is neither a single person nor a group of people, thus countering a critical addendum to Tarakasura's boon and paving the way for his death. The lit lamps are akin to the spark from which Kartikeya originated and also represent his fiery self as a warrior. Third, it is the birthday of Vrinda, the daughter of Kalanemi, who later transformed into the holy plant Tulsi. Despite belonging to the Asura clan, Vrinda is a pious devotee of Vishnu. He goes on to marry Jalandhar, the king of Asuras, who was born from the fire of anger from Shiva's third eye, which was extinguished in the ocean. Jalandhar was a strong and fair ruler who avenges his mother's death by defeating Indra. However, after he replaces Indra as the king of heaven, arrogance creeps into him and he starts becoming a menace to the world. Due to Vrinda's chastity, Jalandhar is unconquerable. In order to subdue Jalandhar, out of desperation, Vishnu resorts to trickery. He impersonates Jalandhar and performs a ritual with Vrinda and succeeds in tarnishing her chastity. On realizing the ploy, Vrinda is stunned to be deceived by the very god she is devoted to, and he curses Vishnu to turn into a stone. Filled with regret, Vishnu respectfully accepts her curse and in turn blesses her to become the holy plant Tulsi in her next birth. While Vrinda's purity is comparable to the flame of a lamp, another interesting practice evolved from this incident. In the week leading up to her birthday, from Prabodhini Ekadashi, people conduct Tulsi Vivah, where Vrinda, in her plant form, Tulsi, is dressed as a bride and is married off to Vishnu's rock form called Shaligrama, which is dressed as a groom. This is done in reverence to Vrinda's selfless devotion towards Vishnu and is considered highly auspicious. In many parts of India, Tulsi Vivah rings in the wedding season. Theme 2 is Dev Diwali, the Diwali of gods. This is attributed to two main legends that are said to have happened on this day. First, it is the day Shiva vanquishes Tarakasura's sons known as the Tripurasuras and their powerful mythical abodes called the Tripuras. These are the Tripurasuras, Tarakaksha, Kamalaksha and Vidyunmali, and these are their respective aerial cities revolving in the sky like planets made of gold, silver and bronze. These cities have the boon that they can only be destroyed if a single arrow of fire pierces the three of them at one go. Despite being devotees of Shiva, basking under the apparent indestructibility of their Tripuras, the Asuras become arrogant and wreak havoc across the three worlds. Shiva decides to put an end to their delusion by destroying the Tripurasuras and their Tripuras, and the other gods volunteer to help him fulfill the mission by assuming necessary roles, with the earth becoming the chariot, the sun and moon the wheels of the chariot, Brahma the charioteer, and the Vedas his horses. Shiva is standing on the chariot with a bow, which is Mount Meru, with Vasuki the snake as its string. The arrow with a fire tip is specially designed by Vishnu. Waiting for the opportune moment when the cities come in line, albeit only for a fraction of a second, Shiva releases his arrow and burns the three Tripuras to ashes to the relief of the men and gods who hail him as Tripurantaka. This full moon day is hence also known as Tripurari Purnima. Second, it is the day when Vishnu returns after his yearly stint in Mahabali's land of Sutala Loka. After Mahabali is banished to Sutala by Vamana, pleased with Mahabali's generosity, Vishnu promises to stay with him as the guardian of his land from then on. This is Mahabali ruling the Sutala Loka, and here is Vishnu guarding his kingdom. As the universe feels bereft of Vishnu's presence, Lakshmi decides to bring him back to Vaikuntha. She approaches Mahabali as a sister and requests him to restore her happiness by freeing her husband from his pledge. Mahabali realizes the imbalance caused due to his innocuous wish and fulfilling the duty of a brother, sends Vishnu back to Vaikuntha to the elation of the people and demigods. There onwards, Vishnu stays with Mahabali in Sutalaloka for only 4 months each year. Kartik Purnima is thereby called Dev Diwali, where gods rejoice Shiva's annihilation of the dangerous Tripuras and Vishnu's return to Vaikuntha. Those from the upper world, such as the demigods, sages, Gandharvas, and Narada, are believed to descend to earth and bathe in river Ganga. The banks and ghats of river Ganga are thereby decorated with innumerable clay lamps, and flowers and diyas are sent floating in the river to celebrate their arrival. In Andhra, Telangana and Karnataka, the temples of Shiva and Vishnu are lit with thousands of oil lamps to commemorate the happy occasion. The lamps of Dev Diwali thereby are a symbolic representation of light returning to the universe, dispelling the darkness of ignorance and delusion. Further, in South India, as a tribute to Lakshmi and Mahabali's bond, the day is considered special for brother-sister relationships, similar to Raksha Bandhan and Bhai Dooj in the north. In Theme 3, we look at some esoteric regional practices observed across India during Kartik Purnima and Karthika Deepam. The west and parts of North India organizes fairs of different themes during the month of Kartik and end on the day of Kartik Purnima. The most popular of all is the Pushkar Mela of Rajasthan. Pushkar is particularly famous for holding the world's largest camel fair, apart from being the only place to have a temple dedicated to Brahma. On the day of Kartik Purnima, pilgrims come to take a dip in the holy lake of Pushkar, offer their prayers to Brahma, and release lamps into the lake with the help of leaf boats in the evening to offer their obeisance to the creator of the world. In Manipur and Tripura, the day of Kartik Purnima is called Maharas, where they celebrate the divine love of Krishna and Radha in a grand scale. They recreate the Ras Leela of Krishna, Radha and the Gopis through their distinct traditional attires, music and dance forms, along with holding exhibitions of local handicrafts. The warmth and glow radiated by the lamps signify the eternal love of Krishna and Radha. The third scene is of Odisha, where the boat festival Boita Bandana is held on the day of Kartik Purnima. At daybreak, people go to the nearest water body and leave colorful toy boats with a lamp, betel leaf, flower and coins in homage to the maritime glory of ancient Odisha. Karthika Deepam of Tamil Nadu is commonly referred to as Kartigai. As a special tradition, a bright fire called the Annamalai Deepam is lit on a hill in Tiruvannamalai on the night of Kartigai. Legend has it that once, when Brahma and Vishnu were engaged in a fierce debate about who was superior amongst them, Shiva turned into an unending column of fiery linga at this place to test their prowess. Brahma sets out in the form of a swan to find the beginning of this column, while Vishnu takes the form of a boar to spot its end. Despite their supreme powers and earnest efforts, they fail in their mission only to feel humbled and realize their folly of wanting to prove their supremacy over the other. Thus, the lamps lit around the homes on this day are considered to be the miniature version of Shiva's manifestation as the column of fire that has the power to vanquish self-pride and spark enlightenment. The state of Kerala calls Karthika Deepam as Kartika. The locals believe that Bhagavati, the provider of energies to Saraswati, Lakshmi and Parvati, comes home on the day of star Kritika. People welcome her by cleaning their homes, decorating it with plantain leaves and wearing new clothes. They light traditional brass and clay lamps as a symbol of the boundless powers of Bhagavati. Thereby, the stories associated with Kartik Purnima and Kartika Deepam tell sagas of how certain individuals left an indelible mark on the world by exalting their lives and unleashing their true potential, of how destruction of delusion paves way to wisdom that ultimately leads to peace and joy, and how commemorating love, progress, and the divine energies keep us humble and rooted to the ground. In essence, Kartik Purnima encourages us to illuminate our inner self and transcend from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge. The message is aptly conveyed through the practice of lighting lamps around the home on this day that prods us to dwell upon its spiritual symbolism, where the wick of the lamp is a metaphor for the ego in a human being. The oil in which the wick is soaked represents the negative tamas and rajas qualities that fuels that ego, and the flame represents wisdom, the spiritual awakening that has the power to burn the wick of ego as it consumes the oil of negative qualities. So, let's all strive to light our inner lamp of Kartik and keep it burning brightly within us. Thank you for watching. Namaste.